Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix here at the Temple of Speed at Monza. If you guys did miss round 13 though for the Belgian Grand Prix, my favourite race on the calendar, then do check out that episode by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. But today we are here at Italy for Monza. No rain expected. Finally, I've been waiting for ages. You know, we've had so much rain recently. It's good to have finally a dry race weekend. Also, as you can see on screen, no upgrades for this race. However, we do have a major engine upgrade on the way for the next race in Singapore. Now, in terms of the R&D chart, no upgrades for Sauber, Ferrari or Red Bull, which are the three teams above us, which is good. So the gaps kind of remain as they stand, although Haas and Renault do close up to us a little bit. But as you can see, Sauber are just so far ahead, man. Like, seeing how the lines have stabilised, it gives you a chance to really drink it in. And Sauber are literally in a class of their own at the minute. And you saw in the last race, if you watched the last race, Leclerc was just too quick, man. We just couldn't compete. And hopefully today we could try and beat him. But this is going to be a very similar track to Spa. I think we're going to struggle in terms of beating Leclerc. And I think all we can do is damage limitation really until the next race in Singapore. Now, you just saw a moment ago, we put in a semi-new power unit. Now, what I mean by that is, obviously, we've only changed 3 of the components. The other 3 have remained the same. But we've put on our final new components, which are, I think, the ICE, the MGU-H, and also the turbocharger. And those 3 are the components that get the most stress. And we put those on fresh for this race. Normally, they would come into effect for the next race in Singapore. But what I've done is I've put them in now because, obviously, Monza is a power circuit. And you want to have maximum output on the straights. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the old power, the old painted components for the next race in Singapore. But for this one, I've had to fast track them to really maximize, the performance, especially considering there's no upgrades for this race. So we jump into qualifying, and straight away there's an issue because, as you can see, we've got a small problem with the car there, and we're going to have to wait for the fault to be repaired about 4 minutes, which is actually going to mean we're going to be compromised to do 2 runs instead of 3 in this session. So really unfortunate, but just the way the cookie crumbles. But eventually the fault got repaired, and we were ready to go onto the track and do some running. So as you can see, we get the car fired up, and we've got a brand new set of super soft tyres on the car, and we're going to get straight to work and see what where the car is and what we're doing. I went for 2 kind of different changes in setup. The first run I had basically a setup along the lines of someone that an esports racer would use, but I had 3 on the front wing instead of I had level 3 in the front wing and 54 brake bias, and then I made a tweak for the second run, which was my fastest lap, and I knocked the front wing down to level 2 and the brake bias to 52. So as you can see at the moment, currently on my first run here, just trying to get a benchmark lap time down. Also, even though it's a benchmark, I want it to be a decent lap because it could be my best lap of the session, so I was kind of pushing here and trying to maximise the lap time. As you'd expect, on pole as things stand, and so far the lap's okay. We're about a second off the pace, 1.3 to be precise, through sector 2, as we now go into the final sector through the parabolica, and now pretty much I'll just power it down to the line. And to be fair, my final sector is pretty good. We actually don't lose any time. We actually match Leclerc through the final sector and stay 1.3 behind, but currently P8. A little bit of improvement needs to be done in my opinion. There was a bit of time to shave off that lap, so we're going to run on board now for my best lap of this Monza circuit here for the Italian Grand Prix. Straight away, overtake ERS engaged out the final corner to maximise your straight line speed before the battery recharges across the line. Then into hot lap mode, all the way down to turn 1. You want to brake just before the 100 meter board. You can brake at the 100 if you can possibly slow it down. I struggle to, so I'll brake just before. Focus on the first turn, especially. You want to really take a massive chunk of curb out of that first one to really open up the second. Through turn 2, the left hand, you want to completely avoid the curb because it's a horrible curb. It destabilizes the car. Focus on your traction, flat out through 3, and now into 4 and 5. You want to get all over this inside curb at turn 4 to open up turn 5, and be careful not to go into the gravel as we just about keep it under control. As we now go into the first of the 2 Lesmos, keeping a nice tight line here, letting the car run out wide onto the curb, and now through Lesmo 2, you want to really attack this inside one. Don't be fooled by the camber or the dip in the tarmac. You want to really get on the inside there because that's going to gain you a lot of time, as we're currently about half a second up as we go down the hill and now start to go up the hill towards the Ascari brake zone. Brake as the curb appears on the right hand side, down a couple of gears, and really open up this left if you can. And don't lose the back end. If you can open up the left and avoid the curb on the inside, that's probably the best line because the curb destabilizes the car a lot through there. And now finally the parabolica, brake at the 50 meter board, down to 5th gear. I actually use 4th to rotate because I got a little bit too hot on the brakes. Get on the power as soon as possible, bear over to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line. Use up the remainder of your ERS battery and what you have left, and we do set a decent lap time. And to be fair, it was a pretty damn perfect lap in my opinion. There was not much time left on that at all. if any. I literally had no mistakes. It was a flawless lap, not a single oversteer moment or correction. It was literally perfect. So yeah, probably the best I could have done. P5 on the day. Alonso P6, so it's a normal McLaren third row behind both Ferraris and both Saubers. Leclerc, as you'd expect, on pole with Ericsson alongside, and it's a complete whitewash here by the Ferrari power teams, especially Sauber. And yeah, pretty much we're going to try our best tomorrow in the race to try and turn this around, hopefully get a decent result. I'm praying Leclerc maybe gets overtaken into turn 1, maybe by his teammate or something like that, or Leclerc gets a poor start for a change. That would be the game changer. And also, I don't think we have the best pace around here, so I think a podium is going to be the best we can do here. With that being said, though, let's jump into it for the race for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's jump into it.
Are you happy with where you'll be on the grid tomorrow? Are you hoping to have your reliability issues sorted out before qualifying? Well, thanks anyway.
The Italians love their cars and they love their racing. And of course, they love it here at Monza. Home race for Ferrari, of course, who've had 18 wins here since 1950. But you know, there's not been so much luck for the locals in the cockpit recently. The last Italian driver to win this race was back in 1966. So what now? I think it's time to make some more history here today. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the turn 1 chicane. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Martinez. That was a great podium in the last race, so can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs, so it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and Marcus Ericsson completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Raikkonen, Martinez and Alonso, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, Magnussen, Perez, Romain Grosjean and Ocon, Hamilton, Gasly, Valtteri Bottas and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix. P5, third row on the grid, clean side of the grid as well, alongside Fernando Alonso, my teammate, and all McLaren third row. Decent progress from us as a team. It goes to show how much we've really progressed this year, moved forward compared to last season. However, we do have all the Ferrari power cars pretty much in front of us, with the exception of Haas, who are behind, and our work is cut out for us today. We've got a really big race on our hands. I'm just praying Leclerc doesn't lead after the first couple of corners, and if something different happens for a change, we get a bit of a different dynamic in this race. Now, in terms of the strategy, the game recommends supers onto mediums. I could probably do supers onto softs, but I'm going to have to go quite long in the first stint. So watch this space, we'll see how it goes. And we've got two options on the table, kind of similar to the last race in Spa. We might go a little bit longer in the first stint if I can possibly pull it off. Fuel-wise, we are 2 laps over, so hopefully that will help us out. A lot of rich mix in store, obviously for a power circuit. And pretty much we're just going to absolutely go for it here. Be aggressive on the start as well, and hopefully a few others around me are as well. We can try and get Leclerc and hopefully have a good race. With that being said, let's jump into it here and let's see how the race goes. It's time for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs, get them into the sweet spot. The lights are on, and they are off. Away we go. Not the best start. Alonso gets off to a flyout. I'm going to cover the inside though. Try and show people the long way round. Down the inside of turn 1, trying to get that position back on my teammate. Leclerc still leads the way. Ericsson alongside him. We get Alonso back and we overtake him. Ericsson currently slipstreaming Leclerc. I can see in the distance down towards turn 4. Sauber versus Sauber. Leclerc does go defensive. Ericsson trying to go on the outside of his teammate, and now he's actually going to get the move done, I think. Come on, Ericsson, please do this for me. we're currently just sitting behind. Vettel looking racy as well. Ericsson and Leclerc still side by side after this entire start to the lap. It's now going to be a drag race between the two Saubers going down towards the Ascari chicane. Leclerc's going to pick up the inside line though, which is less favourable for Ericsson, down towards Ascari. And Leclerc is going to settle into second place. Ericsson actually gets around the outside of his teammate and gets the move done, so fair play. Exactly what we wanted, and we're also P5 here, as Leclerc's now going for the rear overtake around the outside of his teammate. Into the parabolic, we just touched the grass there, it's going to destabilise my car a little bit. Leclerc pulls a beautiful move around the outside of his teammate there to retake first place. Hopefully Ericsson can get back past him though. It's a long straight, and I think he's going to go for it here. Ferraris as well, not too far behind, they could pick up some scraps, but it does feel like the Saubers have some incredible top-end speed here, as they're still battling going side by side. We need to try and cash in on this and make some moves. Ericsson, Leclerc takes first place back for now. There's a big battle behind actually, Alonso's involved, he's come out on top, but we've opened up a massive gap, so at the minute we're well placed here behind these guys, behind the lead pack, and we can basically bide our time as Leclerc runs deep. He runs very deep, makes a mistake. Ericsson trying to get back past again. These guys are still going at it. I need to start making these moves. If I can start leapfrogging some of these guys and get towards the front, that might be the opening I need, but I can't really see an opening for me at the minute. Right, I'm just going to back off here. Let the Ferraris duke it out. Switch back, there it is, come on. Come on, come on. Around the outside of Kimi. Oh, we're very wide through there. It's going to allow Raikkonen back past. We're going to switch back underneath. Come on. Raikkonen shouldn't. Okay, he does have DRS and somehow I don't. So we need to get this done with just pure slipstream. Vettel's coming down my inside. I'm going to have to back out. Vettel's going to go down the inside of his teammate into Ascari. What a lunge from Vettel there. We're going to get the momentum on the exit. But I'm kind of boxed in. I've got no slipstream. And here comes Ricciardo in the Red Bull. We're going to go down the inside of Vettel into Parabolica. Two cars at once. Come on. Power down, power down. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm going to have DRS. I should have DRS. Leclerc setting the pace out front. I think he's taken the lead. Yes, he has. This battle's just got real fierce. But look at the straight line speed here in the McLaren. Vettel coming back at us here. I'm going to go defensive and cover off the inside line. Try and solidify this third place. There we go, job done. We've got a gap. Ricciardo's actually gone P4, and now he's going side by side with Vettel, it seems. This is my chance to pull away now and open up a gap, but Ericsson also seems to have succumbed to Leclerc. Just as we've made our move, Leclerc has solidified his first place, which is a little bit annoying. But let's try and open up a gap here. Whilst Vettel, Ricciardo and Kimi battle away. Ericsson has got back past Leclerc. We've got a race here, ladies and gentlemen. So far, it looks like we do have a race. I need to catch up whilst the Saubers battle away. We set the fast up of the Grand Prix. As Leclerc goes for the rear overtake on Ericsson down the pit straight, that's fine. Just need to keep on pushing. Saubers still going side by side. Meanwhile, we've got a yellow flag further back. And I think it's one of the Haas cars that slowed down. We set another purple lap at 1 minute 20.9 this time. As Leclerc and Ericsson go side by side down towards turn 1. Ericsson staying in front, it seems. A little bit of contact as well as we lock up. Kevin Magnussen retires from the Grand Prix. Leclerc and Ericsson still going side by side. This is what we need. Come on, let's try and get it within DRS if possible. It's going to really help me out here. Hopefully Ericsson can go for the overtake on Leclerc here into Ascari if possible. Okay, maybe not. Oh yes, he does. He thought about it, but he backed off at the last second. But the Saubers are showing no signs of slowing down as we enter the yellow flag zone. Let's just try and stay within 1 second for DRS. See how much the Sauber pulls away on the straight. Ericsson was going to go for the move there, but he had to back out. As we go into Parabolica, Ericsson right behind his teammate, and we're not too far behind now. We're within range. Now it's all about timing here, and timing the overtake on these Saubers. So when we can hopefully overtake, we can pull away. We do have a lot of speed on Leclerc here, but not really enough for my liking to go for a potential move. So we're just going to play it safe for now. No need to rush into things. We're back in the race. That's all we need. Looks like Leclerc's going to go for the rear overtake here on his own teammate into Parabolica. The Saubers are so fast on the straight, I can confirm. They are absolutely ridiculous. Like, the straight line speed is just on another level. That's why I'm struggling to keep up here, because they keep on slipstreaming each other perfectly. You can see that lap there, 20.5. Just the perfect slipstream. Ericsson, though, did get DRS, so he goes back in front of Leclerc. And we're basically just waiting here. This is also the way the race has gone so far, I've not been too hard on my tyres, so strategy-wise it's working out okay for me so far. Leclerc's going to go for it again, this time on the inside of Parabolic, and I think Leclerc's going to pick up the DRS this time around. He's actually pulled it off beautifully. They get a poor exit though. That's going to give me the run. Ericsson goes for the re-overtake, and none of them have DRS here. This is it. This is my chance. Somehow no Sauber gets DRS, and we're going to go down the inside of the pair of them. Late on the brakes into turn 1. We're going to pick up the inside line, just wipe off Ericsson's nose there, and we take first place in the race, but this is far from over. We know how fast those Saubers are on the straights, and keeping them behind is going to be a different kind of challenge. Okay, this is our scheduled pit stop lap. I'm going to commit to the soft tyres, as the Saubers seem to go long as well. Don't really have that much DRS left, but Ericsson's got DRS at the minute, so Leclerc can't really challenge his teammate. That's fine, we're getting good exits, that's all we need to stay in front of Ericsson. Although this one might be a little bit harder to stay in front of, because I know this is a strong traction point for the AI. And here comes Ericsson already, he's on me. Although having said that, we're at DRS, he's not that close. And we stay in front, fair play. Ericsson's within range here. We have to go defensive. Showing the long way around just in case, because he was gaining too much momentum on me there. Again, he's going to be on me here. A little bit of overtake just to stay within range. I want to stay side by side with him. There we go. We should pick up DRS though. A little bit hot into Parabolica there. Outbrake myself slightly. Poor exit. We're kind of having a drag race, and I've got no DRS somehow. That's poor, and here comes Leclerc. He's going to return the favour with DRS, as I'm literally out of ERS. And we're going to have to sit behind, and that's literally the worst case scenario, as the positions swap around completely and Leclerc ends up taking the advantage. Leclerc has started to bolt away. That was the one. He's pulled the pin and he's off. This is a little bit frustrating at the minute. Let's see which Sauber comes in this lap, and let's see who blinks first. Looks like Leclerc comes in. There you go. So Leclerc in the pit lane. So we're going to follow Ericsson for one more lap here, just to play it safe on tyres. I'm praying Leclerc goes for a medium. That's my only hope. Right into Parabolica then. Ericsson's had a strong in lap, because I'm on for a personal best, and he's making faster still, so fair play. Let's get it all slowed down though. There we go. That's a good pit entry. Might have a chance of getting Ericsson here if the boys put in a good stop. Leclerc had to get past the Red Bull on the out lap, so let's see how this one pans out. It's going to be interesting. Let's see. Come on boys, nice stop please. There we go, 2 second stop, but Ericsson still stays in front. Wow. And here comes Leclerc. Look at the gap he's got already. Wow, Leclerc is gone. That's it. That was our chance when we managed to put him down to third place momentarily, but that's it. He's gone now. Incredible from Leclerc. Just a couple of strong laps from him in the Sauber there, and he's done the job. And he's looking good to win this race again. Let's try and get a second from Ericsson if possible, but I think that's going to be a struggle as well. A 20-0 from Leclerc. That's very strong pace. Very strong pace indeed. Damn, I'm so annoyed. That was our chance. We've been waiting for that one a long time, and it finally happened, and we blew it. 21.1 from me. I haven't really got the pace, unfortunately, so we're just going to stick with it. You never know. Ericsson seems to be a little bit quicker than Leclerc. So let's try and keep it going. If we make a mistake there into turn 1, a bit hot on the brakes. It's important to now not give in to Sebastian Vettel, who's catching up behind us in the Ferrari, and keep a gap and stay outside of DRS range, crucially. Personal best 120.6. Pace is kind of stabilised now, and the top 5, both Ferraris, both Saubers, and myself are pretty equally paced, so it's just not really going anywhere at the minute. Another 20.6 consistent pace, that's all we need. And we're actually putting away from Vettel a little bit, which is good. And now 20.3, a purple final sector. Actually gained a little bit of time on Ericsson on that lap. I'd love to keep this pace up, but I don't think it's realistic. Okay, Esteban Ocon out of the race for the Force India team. I've now switched to using ERS as I've burnt off all my excess fuel. 3 laps to go as we cross the line. Still lapping a strong pace, smashing my personal bests, but I think we're going to call it a day there and not turn the engine up anymore, because there's nothing more for us to gain in this race, I don't think. It's going to be impossible for us to catch Ericsson unless something happens. So we're just going to basically bring it home. We've opened up a nice gap to Leclerc, to Vettel of over 6 seconds. So we're just going to focus on bringing that one home, to be honest, and secure the podium. Well, that just rubs it in at 20-0 from Leclerc. As usual, the Saubers always seem to go pretty much put on an exhibition right at the end of the race and start to set some ridiculous lap times. So yeah, good thing we turned the engine down because I couldn't compete with those laps anyway. 19.6 on warm softs. Leclerc just proving that he was messing around this entire race and really getting the hammer down now. Either way, across the line, and last lap of the Grand Prix, let's bring this one home. Right, here we go. Leclerc is going to cross the line to win the Italian Grand Prix at 19.3 on the last lap. Wow, insane pace. We're going to cruise home for third behind Marcus Ericsson. A Sauber 1-2 at the Temple of Speed. It seems very fitting for them. We come home for yet another podium, and our run of podiums continues. Really consistent, and we're doing the best we can, but ultimately the Saubers just too quick here today, and Leclerc just too quick.
A great win then for the Sauber team today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Looks like they're on their way out to the podium now, and what a result this is, and what a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Sauber team on top here today.
Right, so looking at the final race results, Charles Leclerc wins at Monza ahead of Marcus Ericsson and myself. Sebastian Vettel P4, Kimi Raikkonen P5, and then there's a bit of a gap to Daniel Ricciardo in P6. For my teammate Fernando Alonso P7, he lost a place compared to where he qualified, but still a good point scoring race for him. And Max Verstappen 8th in the second Red Bull. Sergio Perez P9 and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the points. Bottas P11 there for Mercedes, and Gasly as well missing out on points along with Grosjean, Sainz, Hamilton P15. Brendan Hartley, Lance Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin with Esteban Ocon and Kevin Magnussen retiring from the Grand Prix. In terms of what that means for the driver standings though, we dropped to 82 points behind Charles Leclerc. We are now 20 points clear of Raikkonen, we extend our points gap over him, and Ericsson also re-overtakes Ricciardo for P5. But Leclerc is so far away, he's over 3 race wins away now, and we're running out of races here. And I'm trying my hardest to develop this car, but we just can't get there. In terms of the constructors though, we jump up to 3rd, we overtake Red Bull, even though Ricciardo and Verstappen got 6th and 8th respectively. That 3rd place with mine along with Alonso's 7th is enough to overhaul the Red Bulls, and we become the 3rd quickest team in Formula 1. And on merit, I think we've been really good, so no complaints there. We thoroughly deserve that. But with that being said, guys, that is going to be it for this race, and I think we're going to move into the laptop and see if we can afford any more upgrades going into Singapore, because like I said in the last episode, from now on we've got the engine upgrade purchased. We're now going to focus fully on aero because there's a lot of minor upgrades we can make, which are going to give us a lot of minors, which will add up to long-term big performance gains. So let's jump into the laptop first and let's get those onto the car, and hopefully that will mean big performance boost for Singapore, which is the next race.
Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race. We all underestimated you, didn't we? Appreciate your time.
Okay, so here we are then on the R&D screen. Now, in terms of upgrades, we don't have that many points, not as many as I'd like. So, having considered all the options, we can only afford one upgrade for the next race. And I'm going to go for the rear downforce. Reason being is just because I want to try and balance up the car a little bit. And I want to try and get this row done. So, we're going to get that minor one on the car for Singapore. And that's going to be a little update. To be fair, even though it's little, it's going to push us above Red Bull and Renault if they don't bring any upgrades of their own. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the case. In terms of the progress, you can see that we have a major engine one on the way, and we should re-overtake Red Bull and get very close to Ferrari in the next race if they don't bring any upgrades. So we're still pushing on in the development race, but there's still a long way to go. And I need to score some big results now, and I need Leclerc to have a couple of bad races somehow, because I know the tracks towards the end of the season aren't my best ones. Brazil is okay, but the AI are quite strong around there. Abu Dhabi as well, the AI are very, very strong around there. Then also, Mexico's a good chance. USA is another strong AI one. So, the last 4 or 5 races aren't the best for me. So I really need to start winning the races now, and hopefully Leclerc has a couple of bad races or maybe a DNF or something just to really open it up a little bit. But with that being said, we go again in Singapore and let's try one more time. With that being said, if you guys did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, please do drop a like on the video and also get subscribed to the channel if you're new. Turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Career Mode, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.